Hi, I'm Lingo.Lily or Lingo.LilyBug, and I'm back after too many months. Hi. It's been a very long time because every time I've gone to film a video, I've had a specific goal in mind. And usually those goals involve speaking in my target language in some way, one of them, any of them, and not feeling adequate. Feeling like I sound completely stupid, feeling like I sound like I shouldn't sound after however long I've been learning whichever language, feeling really just inadequate and not good enough, which would lead me to give up? Not give up, but put off making a video, put off filming, because in my head I kept thinking, I don't like the way this sounds, I don't like the way this footage is turning out, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait until I'm better. I'm gonna give it about, I'm gonna give it a week, and I'm gonna be a little bit better. I'm gonna focus really hard on this one thing, and it's gonna be that much better. And then I kept doing that over and over again, and telling myself, I'm going to film when I'm better. Don't do that, or you will never get anything done, just like me. And now here I am, not using any of my target languages at all, just speaking to you in English, because sometimes you have to let go of perfection and you just gotta do what you want to do. So here we are, months later. I was supposed to upload, I believe March. It's almost June, and I was supposed to upload in March, doing like a update of my language goals, which is gonna be coming soon. I actually mean it this time. I filmed it actually. I filmed that multiple times. Did not like any of the footage at all. This is what happens when you're a perfectionist. You don't get anything done because you tell yourself you're only gonna do a thing if it's just right, but the reality is things are never just right, so you just don't end up doing anything at all. Don't be like me. Yeah, spoiler alert, like the goals that I went over in my last video and said that I wanted to work on, I did almost all of them. I'll go into more depth about it in an actual video that's dedicated to my goals, but yeah, long story short, I completed most of them, which I'm really happy about. It was great. Since then, a lot has happened language-wise. So I did something that I told myself I wouldn't do for years, and I started a few new languages. And by a few new languages, I mean 3.5, kind of? No, I don't even want to say that. I don't even want to speak that I don't even want to put that out there. No, not officially learning. No. Okay, so I'm not I don't know. Are you ever scared of commitment in a certain way that you don't want to say something in the hearing of other people and make it like official? Does anyone else experience that? Because it's not official. I gave myself permission after a little bit of contemplation to dip my toe into a little bit, just a little bit, not going all in, of Vietnamese, because my dentists are Vietnamese and they gossip over me regularly while they're working in my mouth. That feeling of being left out and not understanding people, I hate it. I hate it, which I don't want to learn it to spy on my dentists. That would be a not good reason to learn a language. Well, it wouldn't be a morally sound reason to learn a language, I guess. But I do want to learn it so I can be able to communicate with them in their native language. Well, that's not the only reason. I have to clarify. I've actually been wanting to learn Vietnamese for over a year. And that just finalized it, having an opportunity to potentially communicate with native Vietnamese speakers. So yeah, I would hope that none of you would ever, learn a language just to hear gossip, but that might be a part of it. That might just be a bonus, but not the reason. I've been wanting to learn Vietnamese for a while. So I let myself learn the alphabet, I gave myself parameters to not jump all in because I already have my focuses. I'm very serious about my target languages and my goals for them, and I do not want distractions, so I told myself that I would only learn a little bit, which I did. I learned the alphabet, and I learned the most basic words so that I can exercise my use of the alphabet and exercise my reading and pronunciation, just so that I can familiarize myself with it for, let's say, a year down the line when I actually am willing to commit to it. So I really just wanted to test it. And yeah, another language that I've been wanting to learn for almost all of my life is Tagalog, which I also gave myself permission to dabble a little bit in and learn the very basic words. And I actually got what is the Easy Tagalog book that everyone who learns Tagalog has, because Tagalog has so few resources that it is so difficult to learn it. Somehow, even though it is one of the most spoken languages in the world, it's very weird. For some reason, learns the majority of the Russian alphabet, but that's such a small thing. It's just such a blip. I feel like it's not even worth mentioning, but I can read some Russian. That's whatever. And the one that I told myself I would not touch for years so that I wouldn't confuse myself, I went to my favorite bookstore ever, Half Price Books, and I happened upon this book. Zero kara start Tsugokugo. And I took a peek inside. When I found it, I was looking for Japanese books. And it's a Japanese book, but a Japanese book teaching Chinese. So essentially start Chinese from zero. And something compelled me to take a peek inside. And I realized that I could read the majority of the Japaneses in here. I didn't want to, already having a background in Japanese, knew that I didn't want to confuse myself with the characters because of kanji and all that. But spoiler alert, I've been using this and I've been at this point learning Mandarin Chinese for about a month now, or at least trying it out. And being familiar with these characters already, instead of confusing me, is helping me, which I don't know why I was so scared of that. And why in my head I thought that the world would explode if I saw these characters in maybe a slightly different context, or if I saw characters I already knew. I don't know why I thought in my head that would make it so much more difficult, but it makes it endlessly easier, because it's like, oh yes, I already know all of this, so all I have to remember is the pronunciation. And when I saw this, I believe it's pronounced pinyin, because when I first saw it, I intuitively pronounced it pinyin, but I think it's just pinyin. But when I saw that, I said, these tones, I just learned tones in Vietnamese because I already started learning Vietnamese. I was like, some of this is transferable, which made it so much less scary, and it gave me some sort of bravery to just go, you know what, why not just get this book? Even if I don't learn Chinese now, I know that I'm gonna learn it later on in my life, so even if, this is a complete bust, I'm gonna have this book later, because, it was $3.99. It was $3.99. How could I not? I could just, even if I, looked into it and I was overwhelmed, I could be like, okay, let's stick with the original plan and just wait about a year and a half to start learning Chinese. But no, it's not bad at all. I made it into this beast in my head. It's going so smoothly. I'm reading and writing sentences and understanding them, getting at least what the AI reads as accurate enough pronunciation as I speak into these like speech recognition things. As far as the tones, I'm accurately reproducing the tones as well as I can, and it's relatively successful. What? I'm so glad that I gave myself the freedom. I'm so glad. See, this wouldn't have happened if I didn't go to the dentist. I'm so glad that I went to the dentist with my Vietnamese dentist who gossip over me constantly, and argue over my mouth while they're working and scraping the living out of my gums. I'm so glad that that was the final straw of me learning a little bit of Vietnamese, and through that it gave me the confidence to, you know, with that being a tonal language, try Chinese. And it's so much less scary than I thought. This has been wonderful. This has been wonderful, and I already have the muscle memory of writing these characters hundreds of times from Japanese. So other than like here's the thing, the simplified Chinese actually is more difficult than the traditional Chinese for me, because I was introduced to the traditional Chinese first, so that's interesting. But overall, this is going very well. This is going very well, and I don't know. I'm surprised, but I guess I'm learning Chinese now. I told myself I would only learn a little bit, but I'm actually learning it a lot. It's very regular in my routine. And then second in line to that is Vietnamese, which is, I've done a good job keeping that at, not a minimum, but relatively. And Vietnamese is so pleasant as well. It's going very well. Vietnamese is just a pleasant language. It's so easy. Tagalog so far, on the other hand. Here's the thing with Tagalog. Tagalog is the only new language that I've successfully kept at a very small amount and only truly dabbled in, and am not continually like, more, I can just learn a little bit more and it's fine. Because it's a lot. It's so difficult to learn this language because the resources are so few, and it's very difficult for me to consistently make myself, at least now, to consistently make myself look into a book over and over and over again and look at the same textbook in the same format and the same. It's so difficult for me. I would love to be able to actively interact with it more in a way that's outside of just that book. I know very little. It's so beautiful and wonderful, and I will not give up on it, but that's the one that's the hardest out of these three for me. I would say Vietnamese and Chinese are probably on the same level for me right now. But as far as what I'm enjoying the most right now, I'm loving Vietnamese so much. But Chinese is so fun for me right now because it's so rewarding, because, like I said, the familiarity with a lot of it is just making it a lot more pleasant and really smooth, and already being familiar with the concept of particles, of course. It's just really nice. It's really nice. I'm loving it. Onto the languages that I've already committed to. Let's go. I'll start with Japanese. Japanese, not going anywhere, never going anywhere. Staying consistent with my studies, doing a lot more listening now. Even when I'm not actively studying, I have it on the background. I'm constantly consuming Japanese media, trying to keep it fresh in my brain. Same with Korean. I'm very happy with the progress that I've been making in those two languages this year. I told you guys that I was gonna take it very seriously, and I have been, and I'm very proud of myself for just the amount of dedication, because I have been really working on it, and I see my results, and that's what's making it a lot easier. Spanish, I have not been touching Spanish much. I'm making myself do it within like this last week, not even this last 2 weeks. I've been listening to it more, because I realized that I really have been slacking on Spanish, because I got to a point where I was so comfortable with it as far as comprehending it. I can have Spanish videos in the background, not look at the subtitles and know what's going on, and not having that challenge as much anymore has I've become complacent, and I don't want that. I want to keep pushing myself forward. I've started to put in a lot less work, because it's just been a lot easier for me, so I haven't felt as compelled, because what drives me a lot is feeling like I don't understand what's going on, and that feeling bothers me. It bothers me to feel left out. It bothers me to feel like I don't understand what's happening. It bothers me to feel lost, and I haven't been feeling that. I've been feeling really comfortable in my Spanish, so I haven't, had that as much drive to study it as much. So I haven't been. That's not good, because I know that things are getting rustier without me knowing, because I did it a Spanish lesson last night, and I was like, ooh, what? I know these. So what's happening? So yeah, Spanish, haven't been touching it. I'm getting back into it though. French, I'm okay with my French. I haven't been doing that much of it. I'm kind of happy with the level that I got to. I got to a level where I can understand a lot of basic stuff, and my French flew very, very, very quickly, because I started French in some point in October of 2022. It's crazy. After telling myself that I wouldn't learn it for a long time because I didn't like the way it sounded, then fast forward, I learned a bunch of it and then loved the way it sounded. I don't, my goals aren't too high in French. I just want to be able to understand a decent amount, and I can now, and I'm happy with that, so. ASL, oh my gosh, ASL. I've learned so much ASL this year. I told you before, I started learning ASL when I was around, when I just turned 14, and I was obsessed with it, and I learned a lot, and could understand most signs that I saw. And at the beginning of this year, made it a point to review everything, and I still retained so many of those signs that I learned as a kid. When I see things, they're much more likely to stick in my brain than if I just heard them spoken. So ASL's been great. Learned so many signs, and it's so fun. And my partner is also learning ASL, so we get to sign together, and it's really rewarding and just fun, and it's so accessible. You have to obviously be very careful of these TikTok ASL teachers who are not deaf or hard of hearing and are not fluent in the language, and yet feel somehow qualified to teach a language that is not theirs. But so you have to be really wary of that, of course. But if you are learning from quality resources, it's so fun. It's the funnest thing in the world. It's just great. So that's been going really well. And now Irish. Oh, Irish. My Irish has not improved. Not significantly. I have done a very small amount of Irish this year because it is so difficult to find resources. And what makes it difficult for me is very difficult to translate. It's very difficult to be 100% sure what those translations mean. Literal translations are hard to come by because there's a very big discrepancy between meaning and literal translation in Irish. That makes things very, very difficult, and obviously the lack of resources for a language that is not very popular makes it very hard, and it's really, really discouraging. I think that I need to approach it differently. I think that I sort of need to give up on being too proper with it and sort of cheat and just copy a lot, because I like to know the meaning of things, I like to know the purpose of things, I like to know the grammar. I think that breaking it down for Irish is not an option. I think that regurgitating whole sentences, whole phrases is the only way that I can move forward at all, as long as I'm being very mindful of context, and essentially learn the way babies do and just repeat, because I don't have clear enough resources to learn properly or the way that I'm used to, as far as learning things piece by piece. So yeah, Irish, not too great. Okay, I don't think I missed any languages. Summary. Started 3 new languages. Tagalog, which I've been wanting to learn for most of my life. Vietnamese, it's great. Chinese, very unexpected for me, and I'm really excited about it. And I've done overall really well on maintaining my target languages that I had already introduced to you guys. Minus Spanish and Irish. So yeah, that's the update. Sorry for not posting for so long. I know that it's not significant to you guys because, you know, I'm sure you're watching 1,000 people a day, and I'm sure no one's waiting on me in particular. I am very new to this app, but still, I do apologize because I would like to hold myself to a certain standard on here. And I apologize for myself. I let myself down because I let fear stop me because I kept trying to film in my target languages and then was not happy with my level in said languages and just kept telling myself that I would film when I was better, and here we are, ultimately me not even filming in any of my target languages. Because if you wait until you're better, you're probably not going to get anything done. Don't be like me. But yeah, that's all I wanted to share today, and I will hopefully soon, probably gonna start filming it right after this, while I'm still in a filming headspace. My language updates for like, what, 2 months ago? It's been a while. But yeah, I'm gonna try to film my goal updates for that month, and I should see you soon. If not, spam me in the comments and tell me to do better. That's all. Thank you for watching. Do better than me.